This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrick. First up at noon, we want to get a look at the weather for the afternoon with Storm Team 6's Todd Clausen. Todd, this is a view to the west, and it is just beautiful out there today. People need to get outdoors.
Yeah, you know, not only is the sun shining, but it's just really, really comfortable out there, and that's the best part about the day, and that's why you really need to enjoy it, because it's not going to be as comfortable going forward throughout the remainder of the week and into the weekend. 75 in Greencastle and Bloomington, 74 in Muncie, 73 is the current temperatures. Make your way into the Richmond area. The view from IMS back off towards the east past downtown. You notice the fair weather clouds that we do have out there, and that is just about it. Now, it's not completely out of the question that one or two of these clouds could maybe produce a very, very light and isolated shower as we go forward throughout the remainder of the day. And you notice there's one little cloud deck a little more widespread here from Kokomo up towards Peru than it is compared to the south, and that's just because of the wind direction off the lake. So as we go throughout the afternoon hours on TrueCast, just look how spotty these shower chances are. It's mainly in northern locations. If you do see one of these showers, it is very light, it's very brief. Do not cancel any outdoor plans, with highs that'll only eventually get up to right around 80 degrees this afternoon, so a little bit below normal. But as I mentioned, the humidity builds, and so does the heat by the weekend. More on that, Meredith, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's major effort to get you connected with jobs, resources, and skills. All month long, we're honing in on how education prepares kids for their careers. Right now in Indiana, the next generation of law enforcement is starting early. As RTV6's Rafael Sanchez explains, these kids are learning the best practices and training before hitting the pavement for a career.
You guys ready to start it? Yes, ma'am. Get your partners, go to your tables.
Learning how to obtain fingerprints is key in the world of law enforcement.
If you see it done in a police academy, we do it in here. We do building searches, traffic stops.
And in this setting, high school students take a hands-on approach. They analyze the fingerprints by placing them on balloons to determine the pattern.
It's exceedingly important because, honestly, you can only learn so much from a book. You can only, for so long, read. It's when you actually get the hands-on stuff and be able to, like, touch and feel and actually do stuff that you actually start to retain the information a lot more.
The J. Everett Light Career Center caters this program to tap into the interests of those seeking a future in public safety.
That whole aspect of just helping people is, I guess, just rooted in my character.
Students can't apply for a job with a police department until they're 21 years old, but they believe this training will give them an edge.
Being able to show up to that door and do what you're told and do it correctly without complaining or something, it shines through to either future employees or just coworkers.
It's very fundamental to start getting a head start, because a lot of things you do as 17, 18-year-olds and going into college can affect your career.
These lines, they could be scars they each have.
A variety of skills and techniques are taught, but the biggest lesson comes on day one and can apply to any profession.
Do the right thing at the right time for the right reason, and you'll enjoy a long career in law enforcement.
Our Rafael Sanchez reporting, and our Hiring Hoosiers Classroom to Career month-long project continues right here on RTV6 tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana. You'll see the nonprofit helping Latino students succeed in school and help keep that momentum rolling for their careers. When we first set out to work on Hiring Hoosiers, RTV6's goal was to help people find meaningful work, especially if that meant overcoming barriers. So today we are so happy to share this success story that's come out of one man's journey with us. Back in April, we introduced you to Matt Knight. He is educated and qualified in information technology. But even after applying to more than 2,000 jobs, he couldn't find a job. He said he believed it was because of his high-functioning autism, which can make the interview process a bit different. Now, Matt says he has accepted a job as a desktop support technician with emphasis. He says he's incredibly excited and thanked RTV6 for sharing his professional job search journey. Matt, we are so excited for you and can't wait to hear how your first few days go. From current job opportunities to programs that can help you with your skill set, we have all of our stories right now at hiringhoosiers.com. If you've had trouble finding a job, reach out to us and we'll see what we can do. Taking a turn now, RTV6 is working to make change for members of a dog park dealing with a much bigger problem than owners not picking up after their pets. The gates to the Paul Rester Dog Park are not working. Lately, they've been keeping the park members who pay an annual $75 fee outside, or as one resident found out the hard way, locked inside the park. Indy Parks manages the area and has tried different locks without success. But when Dan Frankie got locked in the park with his dog Dylan, he called RTV6 for help.
You know, how do you lift a 100-pound dog over the gate? And how do you, as a senior, jump that gate? It gets harder and harder. I finally had to call home. I live a few blocks away and said, honey, bring the key, which is a 6-inch crowbar. And I had to pop it open to get out.
Indy Parks tells RTV6 the gate was malfunctioning because it had been repeatedly hit by something. They are asking residents to report any vandalism to the Parks Department. Happening this weekend, Indigo is getting ready to host training for volunteers to teach people how to use the new Red Line bus route. If you would like to volunteer, you must attend a training at the Central Library in the Riley Meeting Room. Once trained, the volunteers will be posted at Red Line stations between September 1st and 7th. Those training sessions are this Sunday from 1 to 3, next Tuesday from 5 to 7 as well. The Red Line launches September 1st. It was the worst day of the year for the Dow this week. Coming up, what led to the big stock plummet and how this is contributing to unease over the nation's economy. Then a little later in Hiring Hoosiers, getting kids ready for a career that is rapidly expanding. How this program is putting students on an effective career pathway. Todd.
And Meredith, enjoy the sunshine and the comfortable air mass that's in place here across central Indiana, because things will be changing in the coming days. The humidity goes up and the chance of storms increases as well. We'll talk all about it in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
Premieres September 24th on ABC.
This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
Now to Wall Street. After the Dow closed down more than 800 points Wednesday, there are ongoing fears today of a looming recession. ABC's Trevor Ault has the latest from Washington.
Today, all eyes are on the markets and recession fears that may have sparked the worst day of the year on Wall Street on Wednesday. That 800-point drop fueled by concerns of a looming recession alongside what's known as an inverted yield curve, where the 10-year Treasury interest rate is lower than the 2-year. That's historically signaled an economic downturn, last happening in 2007, but happening again Wednesday. And while it's not a guarantee of a recession, investors say the bond market is rarely wrong.
I think the bond market's making a very clear statement right now, which is trade wars are horrible for the global economy.
The president placing the blame for the market's drop on the Fed, tweeting it raised too much and too fast, now too slow to cut, though most economists have disagreed with that assessment. President Trump also insisting his ongoing trade dispute with China is not the problem. This week, he backed off of threats to implement tariffs on millions of dollars worth of some popular Chinese goods.
We're doing this for Christmas season. Just in case some of the tariffs would have an impact on U.S. customers.
Already, some industries like agriculture taking a hit as China is now holding off on buying their crops.
A lot of farmers are going to have to come up with alternative sources of income.
Looming over all of this is the 2020 campaign. Historically, only one president has won re-election when there's a recession in the final 2 years of their term. Trevor Ault, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead, destruction done to a business that's just trying to serve food to the public. The surveillance photos you need to see to possibly help solve this crime. Then in RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers, we're profiling the pathways from school to the workforce. Now, this program is helping kids get ready to fill highly needed positions. And this is a view to the north right now, as you heard Todd say all morning long and now into this afternoon. It is going to be a gorgeous day out there. I'll have your full Storm Team 6 forecast coming up after the break. You're watching the news at noon on RTV6.
800-850-5054.
Right now on the news at noon, we're learning more about the incident in Philadelphia where a shooter barricaded himself for hours inside a home, shooting and wounding 6 police officers. He was eventually arrested. The gunman has a long criminal history, but was able to get his hands on an assault rifle that he used during the more than 7-hour shootout. The standoff started last night when police tried to serve Maurice Hill with a narcotics warrant. A total of 9 people were hurt, but all are expected to recover. Metro police want to know if you recognize this man accused of setting a food truck on fire on the west side. It happened Sunday morning at India Palace restaurant next to Lafayette Square Mall. Investigators say the suspect appears to be wearing a shirt with a large bull face on the front. The business owner says another food truck was parked in the same lot and was not set on fire or touched at all. RTV6 is putting resources behind the effort to link you up with jobs and skills. So this month in Hiring Hoosiers, as kids head back to school, we're focusing on education. Students at one Central Indiana high school are figuring out how to keep your HVAC systems up and running. RTV6's Aaron Lish shows us how these kids are getting on the path to a career that is always in need of workers.
Which wire goes where? These Pike High students are learning just that, how to install, operate, and do maintenance work on HVAC systems. And right now, there's a major need for experts in this line of work.
Approximately 300,000 jobs this year are available in this industry.
And there's a variety of positions open in the HVAC industry.
Some of that's new construction work, along with commercial buildings, residential homes, and then service and repair replacement work.
This is a 2-year course that students say others should consider.
This is a great class, and I encourage other people to take it.
Instructors say if you like hands-on work, then this is the path for you.
They like being outside, they like being active, and they're good at problem-solving skills.
Along with dual college credits, they get certifications from the EPA and OSHA, which students say give them confidence for their future after graduation.
Because even if I do go to college, this is a good fallback plan I can go into. I can always go back to it and work for companies because now I have my license in it. And this is a skill for life that I can always use.
Working for you, Aaron Lish, RTV6.
Aaron, thank you. This industry just keeps growing. Federal data shows within the next several years, we could see a 15% increase in HVAC mechanics and installers. Tornado sirens were sounded for a short time yesterday in Carroll County, and it was because of this. A funnel cloud spotted near Rossville. But this was not a tornado. The National Weather Service says it was a cold air funnel, which we have seen from time to time. Now, Todd, can you explain a little bit what exactly a cold air funnel is?
Yeah, well, as briefly as I can, usually they do not touch ground. Obviously, it looks like a tornado funnel cloud, but there's no rotation in it. So without the rotation, without it touching the ground, it's not a tornado. But essentially, you get a real cool pocket of air aloft, and then you mix it with a little bit of moisture, and that's essentially kind of what gives you a cold air funnel.
Is it dangerous?
No, it's not dangerous. Okay. Very, very rarely do they ever touch the ground, and if they do, they hardly do any damage at all.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, and it's not another question that maybe we could see 1 or 2 of those today because the air aloft is still pretty cool, but a beautiful shot there, Meredith, as you look off to the south past Lucas Oil Stadium and Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Some fair weather clouds out there. That's just about it for right now. And as we go throughout the day, temperatures will eventually get up into the 80s here, just a degree or 2 below normal. But the difference is the humidity is really, really low throughout the course of the day today. So there's the view of downtown from IMS looking off towards the east, and very similar with the fair weather clouds. 76 degrees to dew points in the low 60s. Anytime the dew points in the low 60s, it's very, very comfortable. And as we extend this not only throughout the rest of today, but into the morning hours here by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning when you wake up, the humidity is basically going to be the same as what it is right now, with the dew point temperature not really moving much at all. However, things will change though throughout the day tomorrow. 75 right now in Greencastle, 73 in Richmond, just very, very comfortable highs today. Eventually climb into the low 80s in the city, only right up to about 80 degrees in Lafayette as well as Peru, where there's a little band of cloud cover that is moving through right now. But the big picture doesn't show you a whole lot of action, but it's not out of the question that maybe 1 or 2 of these isolated showers could flare up once again during the peak heating of the day here in some northern locations. If you did see one of these showers, it is very light, it is very brief, it'll barely wet the ground, so do not cancel any plans whatsoever. And if you have plans this evening to head to the State Fair, I know it was a busy place last night, temperatures will be in the 70s. Great temperatures, go out and enjoy. Now tomorrow morning, very comfortable as well. Upper 50s in the outlying areas to right around 62 degrees in Indianapolis. Temperature-wise tomorrow, very similar to today in the low 80s, but the humidity will build throughout the day tomorrow. So while the temperatures are basically in the same ballpark as they are today, it's going to start to feel a little more uncomfortable as the day goes on, and that's the leading edge of some very warm and humid air heading our way. Meredith, by the time we get to the weekends, highs in the low 90s with a chance of a few isolated storms in the afternoon hours.
All right, Todd, thank you. This gentleman has been with us many a times here at RTV6, and normally he is talking magic. He is Taylor Martin, producer of the Indie Magic monthly shows. But starting this weekend, you will get to see a slightly different side of Taylor. He has a show for the Indie Fringe Festival called Tasty Bits, the magic and stories of Taylor Martin, and he is here to tell us all about it. Taylor, thanks so much for joining me.
This is wonderful. Great to be here representing the magic of Indie Fringe and everything, with 7 different magic shows in the Fringe, and mine's a very different kind of thing because it's storytellers, and along with magic. And Tasty Bits actually started as a series of articles on Facebook that I've been writing for the past years. There's 175 stories now, and trying to select and make a show out of it is interesting. The original stories were called There's a Story to Be Told, and my friend Megan one day wrote to me, she says, you know, that shortens to Tasty Bits. And I said, that's a Fringe show.
I like that.
That's what we did. So.
Wonderful. So give us a little bit of insight without spoiling it. What exactly this show is going to be about, and what type of things people can expect?
Oh, they got me doing one of the tricks up there. That's the Afghan bands. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's a series of different magic tricks and stories that start all the way back with an Ed Sullivan show and a Maybelline commercial in 1957, and how it ends up with me being there now.
Okay.
And it's a whole series of different stories, everything from my meeting with Penn and Teller, how I became friends with them, how I met Aaron Copland, and there's 35 stories that are on envelopes that I will have the audience select.
So kind of choose your own adventure.
I will do that one story, and then I toss it away, and it will not be replayed for the entire Fringe.
Wow.
So, so it's going to be stories of me doing singing telegrams. I was the original Merry Minstrel. In fact, in the middle of the show, there is a singing telegram where we're going to get somebody unsuspecting out of the audience.
Wow.
And not only will they get to be participating in a singing telegram, they will also receive an official Tasty Bits kazoo.
All right.
So
well,
there we go.
We have unfortunately run out of time. Unfortunately, we won't get a kazoo performance
or a magic
this afternoon. Yes,
no,
but Taylor,
please,
thank you so much.
The first show tonight is Barry's show at 7:30 at the Indy Fireman's Hall. So come and see a tasty, fine selection of magic. There we go.
Perfect. And as always, all the information, indiefringe.org.
Yep.
Taylor, once again, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Still ahead on the news at noon, the latest look at court cases around the nation. You're watching the news at noon on RTV6.
Fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good afternoon, I'm Yorit Tawalde. The prosecution continued its case in chief today in West Virginia versus Morgan Vandergriff. He's accused of first-degree murder for running over a man with his car after speeding past a stopped school bus. Prosecutors say 38-year-old John Maynard was killed trying to get Vandergriff to slow down at the time of the fatal crash. On Wednesday, the jury saw video from a camera inside the school bus showing a car speeding by. Witnesses say the driver appeared to intentionally hit the victim.
And I seen him like flagging, slow down, and then I glanced back forward, and then I glanced back again, and I seen the dust and the dirt flying from rocks. Then I glanced back again, and I seen John flying in the air, stiff arms, legs, doing like a cartwheel. And then he came down and landed on his side, and then he rolled to his stomach. And I thought, oh my Lord, he has killed him.
Vandergriff says the crash was an accident and that he was trying to avoid a beer can the victim threw at him. He faces life in prison if convicted of murder. That's the latest for now. Court TV will keep following all developments in this trial. Now back to you.
All right, a nice pleasant afternoon for us. Partly cloudy skies. Could be a stray shower or quick rumble of thunder in northern locations. 83. Tomorrow, same temperature, more humidity though. Then the heat is in place for the weekend.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope to see you at 5. Have a great afternoon.